All right, let's open this back now, and it should open in GPU mode, which will make everything a bit faster. All right, lovely. The stream just came up now, finally. I'll paste it in the chat. I'll call it AC1. Hold on. AC1. AC1 stream updated for YouTube. There we go. All right, that's the correct stream. There we go. So this is a bit faster now. Okay, good. Okay, so as I was saying now, because I saved this out, notice that this is all now fully editable in terms of colors and all of this great stuff. So what I'd want to do is select all of this and say no fill. Here we go. So that will leave me with just nice transparent line work. And then now, if I grab my image from Enscape, come on. There we go. White outline here. There we go. Here is my Enscape image here. Now, the thing about this is, notice that I'm in Illustrator. So in Illustrator, I'm not going to be able to change any kind of pixel work here, right? So if I wanted to get this white outline done, I wouldn't try to carry the image in Illustrator. What I would do is, I have the ability to now make all of my strokes white. Well, this one is going to be a little bit of a challenge because not all the strokes exactly I want to be white. But I'm just going to select some of them just for demonstration purposes. So let's start with this complex part here. So, okay, so what I would do is, all right, let's line up the image first. So let's go over to Photoshop.
And when you finish, I can tell you an easy way to do the outline in Photoshop.
Say that again?
I said when you finish, I could tell you an easy way to do the building outline in Photoshop.
Can I take out the building outline in Photoshop? I didn't get part of what you said.
No, sir, I was just going to show you like an easy way to just bring the building in and select the outline and just fill it with white.
Oh, okay. No, just explain it as we go along. So you would tell me your method that you would do.
I would just bring that image in from, what was that, from Enscape?
This is from Enscape that you've seen.
And then you can remove the background by using the magic wand tool.
Right.
And then I would add another layer on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would select the pixels from the image that I brought in. So you
Nope.
go on the layout
Okay,
and
okay. I
right,
get you.
yeah,
But you said a
yeah,
word a while ago. You would select the pixels.
yeah.
So, but my only thing with that is that I wouldn't want to be dealing with pixels because the oops, I didn't save. My bad. Actually, it doesn't matter. But anyway, what I would want to do is I would want to keep my vector lines so that I can use that as my outline. You follow me? So I could
Yes, sir.
remember, this is an image, so I could just carry this image out and, as you say, as you rightfully say, just invert selection and just turn it to white and everything. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you are correct in saying that it could be done that way. But the only difference is that I wouldn't want those lines to now be pixels. I would want those lines to try and remain as vector. So let's see here. Okay, so here we are. Let me see if Enscape, yes, beautiful Enscape. You gave me exactly what I want. Let's make it a little smaller here. Now, I mean, I wish it could just, both of them could just output at the right resolution, but wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. All right. Now, the idea is that now, perhaps it needs to be a little smaller, perhaps. But anyway, I'm just doing a quick kind of pass at here now. Now, in render language now, this is what you would call a pass. One render pass is a vector pass of the lines, and another render pass is what you would call, well, they would call it the RGB pass, but the photorealistic render. And the idea is that you have two different passes that you let in work together. Now, the thing about this approach now is that the vector pass, which is really just a layer in this, is still fully editable from this side. So, of course, I could make the lines white here. This model is, well, the one challenge that we'll have with this model is that these diagonals will be problematic. So, meaning when I select these lines here, let me just do this part here. If I, for example, wanted to make those strokes, well, let's make it red just for this example. What happened? Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Ah, there you go. It didn't. Oh, yes, it did. There you go. So you're going to get this line being red as well. Does anybody have any solution for this? What if I wanted to just make all the lines one color? Apart from going to pixels. What was that?
So I said to turn the red ones white or all of them white?
No, in this, all right, just for this example, let's say I wanted all the lines to be red. But then when you select everything, it's going to select the diagonals as well. Any ideas?
So I would select all first and then deselect the diagonal.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I would call that
less diagonals.
That's the ultimate way how to do it. I mean, it's a bit tedious, but you know, we CSA students tend to have a lot of patience, don't it? Any other methods?
So, sir, you
Okay.
don't want to select the diagonals. That's the only ones you don't want to select, right?
Right, because I just want to select the lines.
Yeah, so you could go ahead. It's not much diagonals.
Is that
so
one?
it
Well,
wouldn't be
okay.
too
Well,
tedious.
okay. All right. Fine. So, okay. So that would be one way. Now, another
Excuse me,
way.
sir.
Yeah.
Why are the diagonals there in the first place? Isn't that a solid wall?
Well, this is just a result of exporting from SketchUp as a vector. Right? You get these diagonals which represent the original polygons which come from the model. So it's like it's side effect. You know, we have to deal with it.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, Illustrator actually has some interesting features. There is a feature there that you can, that's called same object and, same and object under the select command. So the interesting thing about this is that I can select this line here and then tell Illustrator to select the same stroke width. And when I click that, Illustrator will select everything in the model that has the same exact stroke width. Also, you can select same color. So for example, in this instance, notice that it selects, come on, where's my arrows? Anyway, it selects this, but it does not select that, which that's actually a good thing. And that's because all of these strokes here have the same width. Everybody see that? Guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
see.
Just making sure you don't drop asleep. Right? And then you could do the same thing with this. Now, you could, I mean, if you really wanted to get more organized about this, when you select all of this, you could put them on a layer. You know, just because you don't know if you might need that selection again. I mean, suppose you made all the lines the same stroke. Then when you go select same stroke, it's now going to select all the lines. But let's say you wanted to select just the diagonals. Well, firstly, let's put this on a layer. So we could put this on a layer and call this, create new layer and just call it major strokes. There we go. So if I turn this up, oh, wait, I didn't put it there. Right click, send to current layer. Right. So if I turn this off, I'm left with only these strokes. Now remember guys, I'm not showing you how to do something specific here, you know. I just want you to kind of, how you go, absorb what I'm doing, and when if you see something that applies to your mimic, you just grab that and run with it. You understand what I mean? Alright, so right now I'm only leave with these strokes. Now, for the mission that we want to accomplish now is just to change the strokes to white. So, pretty much I can just select everything on this new stroke layer and just say, you know what, all these strokes, let it be white. Let me not use this. Let me just use this. Let it be white. And the other strokes are still black. Now, the great thing about this is that, remember that the concept I'm doing in terms of render pass, this pass that I call a vector pass, is still linked to my Photoshop file. So what should happen is that this should just update any minute now, perhaps. The basic idea is that you can mess with the strokes more in with a vector pass, or editing this layer in a vector program, there is more that you can do with the strokes. I'll give you another example as we go on. Okay, so we just need to update this now and update. Isn't this? Oh, it's a smart. Oh, my bad. It's a smart object, not a linked file. Okay, so everybody, most persons here are supposed to know of smart layers, right? So this that you're seeing here is a smart layer. But now if you're working with modern Photoshop and you're working with passes, you don't really want to work with smart layers. It's better you work with links instead. So what we're going to do is convert that from a smart layer to a linked layer. And we're going to link it to the vector pass. Come on. There we go. Right. So that it's not linked. It's not it will automatically update when it's a link file versus when it's a smart layer. Alright, so already we have some of the effects that we want here. Now the good thing about this is that, remember, because this is a pass, we can almost do anything that we want to do with this. But it is better that you mess with the lines in a line program. So for example, for some of you might have lines that are all right, let me change this back to black just so that we can see what's happening. Right, there you go. Right, so for some of you have lines that have like effects on them. So let me just pick one line for this one. So remember, when you are in a vector program, let me zoom in here, there is a whole world out there available for you in your where are you in your appearance panel. Let me pull this out so you can see it. So the appearance panel, you can add loads of effects. One of them, when you go to effects down the bottom here, down here, then there is so much here. I'm just kind of doing this at random. There was one fun one called Scribble. This one is interesting. Where you can kind of, let me preview this. You can kind of mess with the lines a little bit. Where is the Scribble strength? I think it's under variation, no? Oh, variation is here. There we go. So you can really kind of mess with the down, up, down, stroke width, variation, not more, less overlapping. There we go. More overlapping, nope, less, something like that. And forgive me, I haven't messed with this in a long while, but you get the idea. You can and I mean, this is only being applied to one line, so you can literally apply this to all the lines. I'm trying to find, okay, here we go. Put this back to 0. Right, there we go. Now, some of these effects you could invest in doing it from SketchUp, but the thing is, when you do it in SketchUp, SketchUp doesn't export vector effects. So when you get that nice sketchy line, there's no way to save it as a vector. However, and I'm going to show you this. Let me do a more intense demonstration here. I'm going to select, remember we had placed all of these on one layer, right? So I'm going to select all of these lines here, and I'm going to add let's add a scribble effect here. Or maybe I shouldn't. Oh crap. Yep. Okay, it's back and it's still alive. That's great. Okay, let's see if alright, maybe I shouldn't have selected all the lines. Yeah. let's select just a few. Let me select just a few. So I'm going to select these minor lines here. Yeah, I know. Kind of did a bit too much there. All right. I'm going to go to select. Same. And go to stroke weight. And this will select all of the minor lines. And great, I can put that on a layer by itself as well. There we go. There. Good. Alright, that is great. And basically, whatever is left would be all of my weird transparent triangles, which I can just turn off. So by using method of elimination, I've eliminated all of those triangles. Alright, let's try some effects. Let's just use a few lines because I don't want to wait a long time for them to occur. So let's just use these couple lines that's right here. Come on. It's right here. Let's go to effects and let's try. Let's scribble again. There we go. And oh, right, there we go. We have some settings here that we could also pick. Loose and swish and tight. Let's try childlike. Yeah, let's work with that. Right, and the great thing about this, is that this is still a line. Like you can still like mess with this. You can click on it and move it around, and it will still hold that scribble. And I mean, let me save this. Any change that you make here, it will automatically update on the render pass in Photoshop. Now that we made it a link file. All right.
Sir, you can go over how you made it a link file, sir. Like, we have to save it as a specific file.
Well, okay, the short version of that is, okay, just let me update this for you as we go. So now that it is linked, I'm going to right click it and choose update. Update all modified. There we go. And see, scribble lines and all of that. Now, if I wanted to make it a link file from the beginning, I would go to File and go to Place Linked and just look for that file there. All right. Okay, now let me go back to SketchUp.
Sorry, sir. So the file don't have to be saved as anything specific. You can just please link any file.
No. This is saved as an Illustrator file.
Oh, that's what.
Right, and then I place linked in Photoshop. Okay, so some additional things. Let me go back to SketchUp here. SketchUp. Okay, so before I do anything, let me save this camera view. I hope everybody knows about cameras, right? Oh, actually, I have this view saved already. Let me just save it again just in case. So when you're doing compositing, chances are you need to layer things directly on top of each other. So you want to make sure nothing don't move. Right? So with another example, let's go over to Lumion, right? Because one program doesn't have everything. Now if I go over to Lumion, okay, let me open it first. I guess I should have opened it before I did this, but in any case, because sometimes it takes a little while to load up. All right, while we wait for Lumion to boot up, I don't think I gave the appearance panel any justice because there is just so much more that you can do with it. Okay, let's say for example down here where the garage is, right? I could, because I'm in this program that can mess with the lines, I could select all of these lines here And I could add an appearance. Let me grab these as well. What do you hold again? Control. Okay. If I wanted to get a better selection, I could use my my lasso tool in Illustrator and just kind of grab these. Yeah, let me just grab those. There we go. Now I could go to appearance and add. There's just so much things I could add. Let me go for a let's go for an outer glow. I could go for a drop shadow. Let's go for an outer glow here and preview that. Let me outer glow it with something a bit ridiculous like yellow or something like that. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Let me make it a bit bigger. Well, the outer glow. Alright, let me make it a bit bigger. There we go. Now, these lines that I have selected here, I'm going to save that selection on a layer. So let me call this effects. So anytime I want to select back these exact lines, I just need to go to the effects layer, right? And this is always a good idea to put whatever you're editing on a layer. Now the good thing, I can layer effects on top of effects. So for example, I could add another effect to this. Let's add a... Okay, let's mess with these lines using the stroke profile. So I'm going to go to Window, Stroke Profile. I think I saw some persons that had things that you could get with the stroke profile that had some mimics there. So stroke profile, I could try to go with one of these profiles here. Let's try this one. And what you'll notice is that the lines get a bit weird. Okay, let me undo that. Come on, I changed something a while ago. There we go. Or I could try this one. Maybe that one. A lot of this is really dependent on how these lines were interpreted from Illustrator. So let me deselect that. So then now with that same thing selected, I could go back to my layers. Let me select back those lines again. And I could layer another effect on top of those effects. So let me add another one again. I'm just kind of doing some crazy stuff here, guys. Roughen, zigzag, twist, free distort. Let's do something that make a little bit more sense. Let's add a drop shadow. Not to mention that I can add Photoshop effects on top of it. Like I could make the lines blurry, or I could distort it. Okay, so let's give it a drop shadow as well. There we go. I preview that, and let's make that a bit more. Come on, update. Nope. More like 10. Come. There we go. Maybe it'll give me like 18. There we go. Alright, good. Come on. Alright, good. So, and all of these effects are just added to the line work. Now, I don't know if you guys have anything that maybe looks like that. But let me change these lines from a black stroke to a white stroke. That should make things look interesting. There we go. And all of this is fully editable, and as it is edited, all of that information will just get passed along to Photoshop here. So if you ever want to mess with lines get it into a line program like Illustrator and have a pass. So that line pass, you can mess with the lines with the line pass, perhaps way more than you could do in Photoshop. Sorry, in SketchUp, and still have all of those line changes carry over. Let me update that. All right, so there we go. All right, now I'm coming to the whole vector and pixels thing in just a bit, but let me go for Lumion, which should be up now. Forget Lumion have a thing where you minimize it, it don't start same time, but anyway. All right, so sorry, that is Enscape. Let's get that down. Let's go for Lumion. Let's go for that. Good. So let's put this here and let's have Lumion over here. And now we're going to explore some things that Lumion can give us. If it will just start. Now, the layer below the vector pass, which is a photorealistic layer, this we got from Enscape. We can get additional render passes with pixels. I know that Chrisann loves to hear about pixels, right, Chrisann?
Yes, sir.
Right. So these are passes that you can edit with pixels. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that live link with Lumion. And we're going to get out some pixel passes now, because what we got out was a vector pass a while ago. So now we're going to get out some pixel passes and we're going to look how we can use it. Now, the reason I'm using Lumion to do this is because Enscape doesn't give this and Twinmotion doesn't give this as well. The challenge that we have with Twinmotion and doing this kind of compositing is that there is currently with Twinmotion you can't mirror the same camera in SketchUp as in Twinmotion. You could do that with like maybe Max, using some tricks, but I haven't create new. I haven't gotten a way to do it with Twinmotion as well. All right. They don't give you an empty one anymore. I mean, this has something. Anyway, I can delete it. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, this one is empty, but it have the background. Well, I guess I could have changed the background. So, all right. So, let's get rid of this guy here. Come on. Where is the thingy? Click that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Good. All right. So as with what's it called again? With Enscape, you can do the camera sync as well. Lumion sync here. Oh, actually, it is synced. So I just need to kind of grab it by. Come on, why are you not syncing? Come on, Lumion, stop and start. I guess it's loading. It's catching its breath. Just give it a while to catch it.
So could it be because you have Lumion open?
Oh, you mean because I have Enscape open? Oh, no, it grab it.
Oh.
It grab it.
Okay.
But maybe because it was more it should be more responsive. But you're right. Let us stop the Enscape live updates and live updates here. Giving it a bit too much to do, you know? And let's go with, okay, so let me see. Come on. So let's stop it. Actually, no, I shouldn't stop that. I should have stopped the camera sync and started back. Okay, good. Oh, let's. Okay, well, let me see if you catch on now. No, it's still being a little stubborn. Oh, guess what? I think I know why. Yeah, I think I know why it's being like that. There we go. There we go. It was because of the camera. All right, so same kind of approach again. So let me jump to camera 4 and hold on, that was camera 4? Oh boy. I think I might have moved that camera by accident. Yeah. Oh man. No, I think this was the view that we had earlier. Okay, yeah, this should be it. All right. Now the thing is with Lumion. No, this doesn't look like the same thing. Come on. Ah, you silly, silly thing. Okay, for whatever reason. Maybe I just have too much stuff open, but it is eventually finding it though. It's just that I think I moved it, so it's not gonna quite give me what I wanted to show with this with my little example here. Okay, right, and then the start and stop this now, and it should give me what I want. I hope so. Doesn't quite look like it, but anyway, the point being, in Lumion now, there are some other pixel passes that you can generate, right? Here we go. So, well, most of you know, well, that use Lumion, you know, you can mess with the sun and all of that great stuff, and color correction and these things, but that's not what I want to focus on. No, what I want to focus on is these guys here, additional outputs, right? So this is something that hold on, I want to change the sun a little bit just because I want to show what I'm doing here. Okay, all right. So these outputs here is what we're concerned with, right? These is what give us additional passes that we can mess with in Photoshop. So we're going to take the depth pass. Let's take the normal pass. I don't know if these will work, but you know what? Let's just take all of them. But let's do it at a low resolution so we don't have to wait too long. And let's save a material ID map. And we're gonna save it as HD. And we're gonna save it in that same folder No, we're gonna call it. Let's save it in the same white outlines folder. And let's Lumion passes. Now I wanted to get it at the same angle, but I might have messed up a little bit, so forgive me if that is the case. Alright, so these passes are out now. At least they should be. I'm not seeing them. Did I not click it? I thought I did. Oh. I unchecked it, apparently. They were already checked. Okay, let's go again. Go with the alpha. Alright, and desktop. Let's overwrite that. As a matter of fact, let's do it as a PNG. Alright. And we should be okay, great. Alright, lovely. Ah, there goes our passes. Now, these different images that you're seeing are meant for different reasons. We're going to look on some of what we can do with some of these passes and see how we can use it to enhance what we're doing here. All right, great. Now, in Photoshop, because remember, this is our vector pass, so we already messed with our vector pass. We know what we can do with that. Let us see what we have here. Now, alright, what's an easy way to do this now? Alright, let's use the material ID pass. This is perhaps one of the most useful ones that you can use. Let's carry that in. Yep, it's at a different angle. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to show you in a new file, but yeah, it was my fault. I messed with the camera, so, and I'm not really that, like, I don't normally use SketchUp to do this kind of stuff, so forgive me for some of these things. Alright, so let's look at that in a completely new file. Let's see what we can do with passes. In pixels. Come on, okay, so here we are. Now this is called material ID pass. Different programs will call it different things, but essentially what it is doing, it is giving an ID for each material that you have in the 3D scene, right? Let me make a layer. And what that helps us to do is masking, right? Some of us here really love masking, right? And you can imagine, if I can maybe go back and kind of illustrate my point here. Was this what I grabbed? Yeah, I think this was what I grabbed. So let me just quickly export this as a PDF again. So you see why I went to this computer, because this is like using so many things at once. Alright, so yeah, let's call that vector pass number 2. Alright, good. Let's go back to Photoshop now. Back to Photoshop. Alright. Now let's look at another pass, and I'm going to be using the same file here now. Let's look at our render pass. This is the actual rendering. There we go. Actually, I dragged it in the wrong file, my bad. I should have dragged it in here. So this is straightforward. That's the render pass. That's the object ID pass. Notice that all of them are in the same location. Let's grab another one here. The normal map. Yeah, let's use the normal map. This one is sometimes usable. Let's see if we can use that. But all right, so now with the render pass that we have here, a lot of times you want to make some quick adjustments. It could be material color, or it could be for just something wildly interesting. So let's say, for example, I'm gonna grab a random image here from the internet. So let's say you had a and let's look for a what do you call it again? Right, mural. There we go. Yeah, it's something like a nice mural painting. You know, it could be something. It could be a sketch from something that you did. In this case, I'm just going to grab this image here. And let's say that you wanted to apply this image here. Now you could do it in 3D, but sometimes there are some effects that you perhaps want to add. Once you carry something in 3D, then you have to kind of play by the rules of 3D. You have to make a material, and you have to apply the material and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you can get stuff done quickly here. Now, what you can do to help you, you can use the render passes. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right. You can use the render passes to help you to apply this real quickly. Now, it's going to be very difficult for you to try to, let's say you wanted to apply that image to this wall here. Let me show you. Right, let's say you wanted to apply that image here. Well, you could just use the marquee tool and kind of select it and all of that, but let's say you wanted to apply the image on something more complicated, like on these vertical grids here. That would just be kind of insane for you to cut out all these little things here. So what you would do is you would use the render pass. And the interesting thing about the render pass is that notice how all of this color here is flat. So it's very easy for you to use your magic wand and simply select everything that has this color, or you could deselect here. You could use color range and select everything in your scene that has this color. Choose OK. And notice it goes in and it selects everything. Right? Now, this makes it super easy for you to make these kind of modifications. So, actually, to make life easier, what I would do first is I would create a mask here. And then I would do that magic wand color range selection. So everything that has this color will get selected. Then all I need to do now is here. this mask here. Right. All I need to do now is to apply a fill now of black. Where's my paint bucket? Here we go. To this area here. All right. Now what? Oops, wrong layer. Come on, come on, come on. Undo that layer here. There we go. Come on. All right. Deselect that. Ah, my bad. All right. So when we apply, let's do that again.
So the image needs to be below the render pass.
Well, it don't necessarily have to be, but okay.
Sorry, silly question.
Let me go again. Go
You
again.
hear me?
Repeat.
I was saying silly, stupid question. Does Twinmotion have this ability?
No,
Eh,
unfortunately,
oh,
that's the problem. So that's why I'm showing you the different applications that can give you the ability to use these passes. Right, so right away you can see how it highlights this against you drawing here, and you simply, whatever is black, let me just use the thingy here. Ah, that's why. Right. That's why it wasn't giving me the pass. Right. So basically, you can easily now apply this mask here. What? Oh, right. The opposite of this. Come on. So I want to select the inverse. There we go. And then fill that. All right, that's what I was looking for. All right, so right there and then you can easily have that mask there. You can even move. Oops, my bad. Come on. All right, there we go. You auto select layer is on. That's why. Okay. And you can move this around. Let me turn off the link. Here we go. So you can see how all of this is easily applied by using an object ID mask. Now, in addition to this, you can, for example, twist and skew and all of that stuff that we discussed before. But I'm not going to go into that now. This was just a quick demonstration of how you can use mask to work with this. Now, you can imagine that in addition to using the mask, let me
Sir, how
just...
soon are you going to upload this recording, because it's so helpful?
Your mic sound a little muffled.
So you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was asking how soon this class would be uploaded, because it's helpful.
Oh, right after. And it's also streaming. I believe that, yeah, I can save the stream. It's also streaming directly as well.
As in
on YouTube. Yep. The link is in the...
Oh,
Yeah, man. We're large now, we're large.
I never realized. Yeah, that's fancy.
Yeah, man. So that's why I'm saying that I realize when we're doing this through Zoom, everything seems very choppy. So if you watch the stream, everything will be butter smooth and in the same high quality as the screen share.
It's on your YouTube channel.
No, it's in, well, when I save the stream it will be, but for right now it is accessible via the link in the chat.
In this chat?
Yeah, it should be in the chat.
Sir, it's not in the chat.
Sir, I don't see it.
Oh, you know why? I accidentally sent it as a direct message. All right. Hold on. I didn't see that my thing was on a... There we go.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right. So if you remember what we were doing a while ago with this, right? I'm just going to quickly do this again because I don't want to go back through every single thing, but we just selected the same stroke weight and let's put that on a layer real quickly. There we go. And do the same thing for this. Come on. Come on.
Nathan, hurry up.
Select same stroke weight. And I'm going to put this on the next layer. I'm doing this again because I kind of messed up the camera from SketchUp, so I shouldn't have moved it when I save this out. So all right, so I'm gonna save this as a Illustrator file. There we go. Come on. And there we go. So now back over to Photoshop now. I'm going to place linked. There we go. It's that one. Unfortunately, it's not going to just drop directly over the model like the other one there. Oh man, I guess this was not the same. Oh, it is the same angle. Thank goodness. It is smaller. Ah, cancel that. Come on. What happened? Oh. Place linked. Come on. There we go. Place. All right, let me okay that, and let's make it smaller. Now if you got it from, if you didn't mess with the angle, it should be the same thing. So the key thing is just to not mess with the camera angle when you're going between programs. There we go. Ah, maybe not. Oh, guess what? Part of the model was below the ground. But anyway, doesn't matter. You get the idea. So right now I have 3 passes. So we have a vector pass. We have a let me just zoom in here. Here we go. And I'll even put this in folders so that we can remember what they are. We're gonna put that in a folder. Here we go. Right. Come on, folder. Right. So this is our object. No, let me that's material ID. And of course, it matters which pass you put first or second. So if I put the, well, I've put it below. I've put the, let me put the vector pass. If I put that below the render pass, then obviously you're not going to see it. I'll put the render pass at the bottom. So this is now showing the material ID pass at the top, and then the vector pass shown below it. All right, so this is pretty interesting as well. You can kind of see these lines here. Now, these are pixels here, but remember, you have the source in actual vector information. So what does that mean? That means that if you really wanted to render this out with actual vector lines, then what you would have to do is link back this Photoshop file in Illustrator and then generate your file from Illustrator. All right, so there are other passes that we could perhaps use, but guess what? Lumion doesn't really gives us a whole lot of options with passes. So for example, let's look at our normal pass that we have here. Now, the reason you would use a normal pass is when you want to get things that are on the same surface, give it the same color. Let me compare that and show you. So if you compare a normal pass with a material ID pass, look. This is your material ID. This is your normal pass. Material ID pass, normal pass. Can you guys identify one difference with them? I guess you might want to see them side by side. Oh, sorry. Wrong layer. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I totally need to close some stuff now. Definitely. I'm gonna close them in just a bit. Can you anybody tell me what do you notice the difference between these passes?
Sir, one highlights.
Yeah, man, go ahead. Johnson.
Sir, one highlights the interior space as a solid and the other is see-through.
That is true, but not quite the answer that I'm looking for.
Okay, I don't know that.
Anybody else? No, now let me tell you, when using passes is kind of the beginning of doing more advanced visualization. So when you look on that example a while ago, where because you had a object, because you had a material ID pass, every material had a specific color, which really helped you out a lot when you're using Photoshop, because you can easily select those surfaces because they are the same color. Now, the normal pass now, it gives you surfaces in the same color. So you might say, okay, what can I do with that? I mean, it's pretty obvious what I can do with the material ID, because you know, if something is timber, then come on, let me line this back up. If something is timber, then I could easily select in Photoshop every color that is thin timber, and I can just reapply it to something else. Now, because the normal pass now deals with angles, everything that is at the same angle has the same color. So let me say again. Everything that is at the same angle has the same color. So what does that mean?
So that you can edit lighting.
Yes, true. But the primary reason you'd want to use that kind of pass is for example, if you wanted to, remember, before we wanted to put something on this wall, but we couldn't use the come on,
Material pass.
yeah, I'm trying to, right, we couldn't use the material pass. Why? Because the material pass gives the entire thing one material, whereas the normal pass, it gives everything at this 90 degree the same color. Notice? Everything, even inside the building, which by the way, the material ID didn't give us that option. So Johnson was kind of right. However, the important thing about the normal pass is the angle. So now it's easy for you to, for example, say, all right, with this pass selected, I can use my magic wand and I can click and it will highlight everything that is at this angle here. All right, let me use this one since maybe this one is a better example. See? Then it makes it very easy now for you to, I'm going to just duplicate this layer. Let's delete this. Come on. You know what? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to totally, I think I'm done with Lumion now. Yeah, I've shown what I need to show. So I'm going to close it. Or maybe I can minimize it. Hopefully I can get back some resources. Where is Enscape? Where are you, Enscape? Where are you? Did I close it already? It looks so. Nope. It is here. There we go. Let's close Enscape. And I didn't have Twinmotion open. Thank goodness. Okay, good. So back to you now. Come on. Yeah, it's moving a little better now. So of course, if you're doing these things, you would not want to be running all of these programs all at once. Most definitely not. All right, so now if I make another map here, I can use this pass and use my magic wand so that I can grab something specific. Then I can turn it off. And then, let me just turn off all these other layers. Come on, turn off. There we go. There we go. I just need this one. Right. So right away you can see that it keeps that selection just the same. And I can simply now, well, let me invert selection, because what I want to do is I want to erase everything outside of that selection there. So now notice the difference, that everything at this angle, come on, right, everything that beyond this now gets deleted, right? And now if I turn on back my render pass, come on, well, definitely let's put this on top. There we go. It's there. And of course, that layer is still, I can still like move stuff around. Come on. There we go. But it's much easier to just apply something to one area. Now, there is a kind of a catch though. I mean, this is basic editing of passes. But when you start to get more advanced, you start to realize a little bit of limitation. For example, if I zoom in here, you realize that the shadow that is cast under here is no longer there because it is actually covered by the pass. You see that? So if you use that to kind of replace these two areas here now, what you're going to end up with is that there will be no shadows that is applied to these cutouts. So without shadows, they're going to appear kind of flat, which is what is happening here. They appear kind of flat. So you would need like literally another pass called a shadow pass that only extracts the shadows alone, and then you can use that to retain the shadows. But that's going a little bit more advanced. Most of these passes, most of the effects that you guys want to achieve, you can achieve them by just using one program alone. So for example, first thing we did, we went into Enscape, and Enscape by itself has options, for example, like outline. You can have a single color. But then no, if you realize that you want to know the more line editing, you're going to realize that Enscape is going to be very limited with what it can do. The most it can do is put a line in the 3D shape, but you won't be able to manipulate those lines as much as you can in Illustrator. So you're going to need to get out a vector pass to be able to do that. Now, for example, Lumion has some, it's Twinmotion has some what do you call that now? Let me open Twinmotion. Do I dare do that?
So sir, when you're editing the shadows, couldn't you just like use a brush tool?
Yeah, but you see what happens? You see, when you're dealing with passes, you want to get the information directly from the 3D. You don't want to be creating information. For example, you don't want to be creating shadow in Photoshop. That is what we do sometimes when things are missing. We make up a shadow and things like that. But when you're doing rendering proper render passes, you want to extract that information directly from the model. And guess what? The good thing about doing that is that you can update these things. Now, what you might find is that start with these basic programs. SketchUp, Enscape, Lumion, Twinmotion. But what you're going to find is that everything is segmented. So something that Lumion can do, Twinmotion can do. Something that Twinmotion can do, Enscape can do. And you're going to find yourself kind of hopscotching between them. That's just the reality, because those programs are not full-on advanced programs. So they like, Lumion give you a limited amount of passes. I'm going to show you one example now with a program that I use every day, which gives you unlimited. But you don't need to jump to the most advanced program, because you have to get used to working with passes first. And as you get used to it, you're going to find yourself wanting more. Like, you're going to say, I want a pass that only lets me edit the glass. I mean, Lumion has that.
Twinmotion can give you that.
Okay, so I'm going to Twinmotion now. So what Twinmotion gives you, if we bring up Twinmotion and SketchUp. Let me make sure did I save this camera view? I'm going to make sure I save it again, because last time I apparently moved the camera and didn't realize. But not that it matters, because when you're using Twinmotion, it doesn't. No, Twinmotion doesn't lock the view, so you're kind of left out in the cold. Okay, right. So here is Twinmotion now, and I don't know why, but it just doesn't. When you look in their options, you know, it doesn't give you a way to sync that camera view. So I mean, it don't make sense you try to even line it up, because the when you're doing compositing with passes, the computer needs to give you an algorithmic alignment. It needs to be based on math, because for you to eyeball it, it's just going to be a bit crazy. And when you line it up, if it don't line up perfect, your drawing going to appear to be blurry. If it is off by even a little bit, it's going to look blurry. So you need the computer to align it for you. But what Twinmotion does have for some of you that are doing your mimics is they have these nice little effects here. So if I go to, let me maximize this. If I go to more, I go to, what was it again? Camera, maybe? Visual effects, here we go. And you have, well, first you have clear render, that, you know, it gives you like a solid color. Some of you I see that need something with a solid color. And you have yeah, well, you can change the color. Oh, let me turn it on. Alright, here you go. You can change, for example, the color of everything except the glass to clay. Everything except you get the idea. Translucency, you can change that to 0 so that it doesn't affect the glass. And the color, you can pretty much change it to anything, white or blue or so. And then reflection, you can turn that off or on. And then this would be like textures, but there's no textures in here. So, you know, that's kind of okay. Let me turn that off. Apart from that, they have these interesting, is it filters? Right, they have these filters you can use. So for example, blueprint, you know, they have a blueprint filter. Now the thing with this is that you're kind of stuck. I mean, you can take this in Photoshop, you can save this image out, but it doesn't give you in a format that you can composite it together. So Twinmotion would be more like a one-stop shop. Like if you have a particular effect and Twinmotion can achieve it right out of the box, then you would perhaps use Twinmotion to just achieve it. But trying to take this image, carry it into Photoshop or Illustrator to enhance the lines, it's just not going to be as efficient, because it doesn't give you the tools that you need to really do that. But if this if these effects like this, sci-fi, I mean, you know, if this happens to be the exact effect that you need, then lucky you. Right? So this is another one here. Right, so that's pretty much what you can do. And then what you would do is you would with Twinmotion, everything you edit is based on this one image. So when you come out of this now, you're back to normal, but all your edits are saved in this one image here. So for example, if you create another image and then you go into that image and then you go into camera and, you know, you do something else, lens flare, visual effects, and you do something else like, I don't know, like that. I know that looks horrible. That also looks horrible. Yeah, let's find something that looks a little nice. Like this. Hey, I saw somebody work that kind of looks like this. maybe you could get away with something directly in Twinmotion. Anyway, so when you're done, you exit that. So when you go back to, here we go, remove this out of the way. When you go to image, you can see that you have both of them already saved, right? So that's how that works. And then you just save the actual image or video just like you would in Lumion. So in this case, I'll just go save all, I guess, and start to export. And you choose your file format, I guess. Oh, you just choose your folder. So I'm going to go to the same folder, create a folder called render. And save. There we go. All right. And that's the image there. I'm not sure what these effects are up here, but that's pretty much it. But this is all pixels, so not much you can do with that. But I mean, if this does exactly
There's
what
a
you
book.
want.
It's a book.
Say again?
Oh, I was just saying it's a book. I was commenting on the effect. It was the book Spiral.
Right. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, like a sketchbook there. Okay, that's cool. Right, but this is kind of a out of the box effect. It's not really. I don't see where there's a workflow that you could maybe. I mean, you could always take anything into Photoshop and do more stuff with it, but you can't really layer it like what you could do with compositing with the other programs. Okay, so I think I've just kind of scratched the surface on compositing using these simple tools and to how you can look out to solve some of these things. Most of the mimics that I see you guys have can be achieved with some combination of one or two of most of these things that I show you here. Are there any questions on what I have shown you so far? I wonder if I can quit Lumion now. Let me save and quit.
You brought the file from SketchUp into Twinmotion?
Say again, what you say about Twinmotion? Go close to the mic.
Did you bring the file straight from SketchUp into Twinmotion?
Yes, I did. I did that by using these links that you see here. So you can see the links here. So I have a Twinmotion plugin, the Enscape, and the Lumion. Right?
Okay. All right.
So what I think, if you guys are doing something with 3D and you want to use SketchUp, which is a more kind of simpler approach to 3D, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 of these programs or a combination of them to do exactly what you want. But what I want you to remember is that when you're doing visualizations for your studio, it's not only about photorealistic. If you think back, most of you that select images it's less than half of you that select images that are photorealistic. A lot of it is like an interesting combination of diagrammatic and, so you don't one of the things that can save you a lot of time is that you don't always have to be reaching for ultra photorealistic effects. You can get away with just combining particular effects to highlight a specific thing, which is what you're actually doing now in this exercise. Okay. There is perhaps
a question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or as looking on my SketchUp version, and I'm not seeing the extension on the menu bar. Would I have to download that or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you would do is
Just like how you do it with Twinmotion.
right. You can go to the extension warehouse and find them. That's probably the easiest way. All right. Remember, you can reach out to Neville Campbell, the technician, to help you to get if you need the program. Twinmotion is fully free. Lumion have a trial, and Enscape has a trial. Right. SketchUp.
Enscape actually has a student version.
Oh, it does. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
and you don't have to use your student email. You can use your personal email.
That is lovely. Great. Thank you for that. So
Speaking on something there, sir. Lumion.
mhm.
Yo, I don't know, sir. I've been trying to download it for a while. I don't know what I've been doing wrong.
All right, talk to Neville. He will help you out.
Okay, sir.
Everybody, by the way, it's still. I hope amongst your group you have that number still saved, right? The WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp him. And
Or can you send back the number if you have it?
okay, so
Yes, sir. Send it.
all right, cool. Let me just check on it. I think it is. Chat.
Sir, for the lighting effect that I have, Sashania speaking, in my mimic image, I would have to do that in, let's say, Lumion, then export it over to Photoshop if I have any other additional features to add, right?
Right, because in your image, some of you have images that you can pretty much achieve directly in the application, even if it have a effect on it. So for example, there we go. That's the number. WhatsApp only. So for example, if I bring up, no problem. If I bring up some of you guys' images here, like that was that Sashania.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Sir, there it is.
Right,
It's in
there it
between,
is. Yeah. All right. So, for example, the image like this. Hold on. What happened to Zoom? Okay. For an image like this, you could pretty much maybe achieve this directly in maybe Enscape, or okay, so maybe even Lumion, or maybe even Twinmotion, right? Because this pretty much doesn't have materials. Now, one thing that you have to watch out for is your shadows, and this is what normally catch most persons, right? I'm going to show you something. So take that view for example. Let me compare that against another one. All right, let me use this one as one, and then let me use this as one. All right, good. Now look at these. Look at these images here. That's one. That is two. And all right, let me bring up this one as well. Oops. Bring up that one. Come on. And let me bring up this one. All right, good. Da-da-da-da. Ah, I forget. You can't directly bring up all three, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. All right. And where is your own now, Sashania? I want you to look at these images that you have here. Did I close your own? I think I might have. Ah, here it is. Good. Now, let me try to warn everybody from now. What might catch you guys off guard is the lighting, right? Let me kind of zoom into each one here. All right. Now, if you look at the shadow, this one is kind of similar, but okay. If you look at this shadow here, compare that to this shadow here. So these two ones, that one and that one. Ignore the fact that this is kind of, you know, kind of a glass reflective material, but just looking at the shadows. The shadows here is kind of a sunset, very soft shadows. And the shadow here is kind of a hard shadow. Then also you have to look at the angle, because this shadow is kind of coming in, you know, maybe 11 o'clock thereabout, but this one is definitely low. You can know that because you can see like this building being projected on this wall, so this is a pretty low angle, right? So then also look at the direction that it's going. So for example, when Anita is doing this image, when she shows me her image, the view angle should be from the same angle and the shadows should be going the same way. So you understand? So you want to watch your view and your shadow angle to match the mimic image. If those don't match, then it's not going to look similar. So similar to let's look at this image here. Well, these two are a little similar. And this image here. Like, if you look at where the shadows are going, so you can see that this shadow is kind of going this way. So it's kind of coming down like that. And this shadow here is kind of going this way. Both of the shadows are sharp. All right. All right. Let me show you another one as an example. Let me close this. And let me open back this one here. Oh, there is one that I remember. Where it is? Where is it? Ooh, that one is nice. Anyway.
So can you go to my one?
Okay. Right before I go to your one,
So cloud.
I want to show this one here. All right. Now this one, Chris. How is your shadows in this image? Tell me about the shadows. What's happening with the shadows?
There's stuff, shadows underneath the building.
Right.
And I see like even the entourage, they have some stuff, shadows as well in between the buildings.
All right. Now, one of the things you realize with this that even makes this look like a little model is that the sun shadow compared to the environment shadow or what you would call ambient light. So ambient light is coming from the atmosphere, and the atmosphere surrounds you, so it doesn't have a specific direction. So you ever look how the day looks on a cloudy day? You don't get any sharp shadows. It's just kind of little blobs of shadows everywhere. Now, this image, the direct light is very light, right? So if you look like maybe here, you can see the direct light causing some shadows there. But it is very pale. As a matter of fact, the ambient light and the direct light are almost at the same power. Now compare that to this image on the left now. There is literally only direct light. For example, you can see the shadow of the building here, right? Very distinct. But in reality, like for example, in this space right here, there is no soft shadows in this image. It's just literally hard shadows. In your image, there is the kind of environment shadow that give you this. If you kind of look in this nook right here, you can see how it gets darker. Can you see that? Let me show you another. Like look in, like right in this nook right here, so as well. It's not a direct shadow. It's indirect shadow. It's almost like the right word for it is ambient occlusion, but I don't know if you might hear that term before. But this image has the direct shadow is not very harsh. So if you put a harsh direct shadow, it's not going to start looking like this. And one of the reasons why this looks like a model, I don't know if some of you have selected images that kind of look like a little model, like a miniature building. What happens is that when you have your models and you take photograph of your models, because your models are so small, usually models don't have a hard direct light. They usually have soft shadows, usually. So that is really what differentiates this from that. All right. So the one on the left, almost no soft shadowing, just hard shadow. The one on the right, 50% hard shadow, 50% soft shadow. So you can't even make out where the shadow is, but if you look closely, you see it. But it is very splayed out. So when you're using your programs now, I'm going to demonstrate this using Max now, right? I mean, in Lumion and Twinmotion, it's easy because, I mean, the shadows is right here. You can just play with it, right? Sukal was asking something. What were you saying now? You were saying to look on your image. Where is it?
Sir,
yeah?
You saw that I re-uploaded something, right, sir?
You saw that you what?
The second one. I uploaded it to the communication one.
The second for this mimic?
Yes, sir, for the 3D perspective.
Okay. Okay, I'll check it in a bit.
Okay.
Sir, I think I submitted the wrong type of image for that one.
Okay, alright. So they will try to clear it up today. Yeah, Dan. So like for your image now, I can see where like this part of where you have is photorealistic. But the things to watch your trees. The trees are interesting. So look at that when you're doing your mimic. Right? All of the entourage are like white. And then I mean you shouldn't be worried. This is not bad. You can do this. Right?
So I hope so.
Come on. I mean, this is photorealistic. So what would be happening with this is that for a lot of you, fine city buildings or tall buildings, it don't have to be 10 stories tall, but just if you're looking for entourage, get them on Warehouse, guys. I know a lot of you are going to be using SketchUp. Get them from Google Warehouse. SketchUp Warehouse. Everybody knows of SketchUp Warehouse, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Just download a little town, download a little city or something, because you can find loads of them on Warehouse. If I go to there you go. You're not in a oops, no, let me type town. Maybe that's the wrong one. Maybe street. Am I looking in the right category here? Models. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you get your. This is not a modeling class, right? So I don't expect nobody to be going in Revit and drawing up a whole city and that kind of stuff. This class is primarily about experimenting with visualization techniques, right? So don't waste any time modeling. Just grab one of these little town thingies here for those of you who need like a town, and do your thing. Okay? Look at this simple one. See,
Yes, sir.
Right.
I submitted like from.
Okay. What you saying, Maya?
I was saying I submitted my mimic from like the first set, but I'm not seeing it on the mirror board, so I resubmitted not too long ago.
Okay. The mirror board I have to manually put it on the mirror board. All right.
Okay.
So just because you don't see it, don't mean it's not there. I'm going to go through it. But I have just one more thing to show before I call it done.
Wait, hold on, sir. Question. When you download the city from 3D Warehouse, how do you drop the model in there? You just import it? I'm not sure.
How do you get the model in?
Like when you download the city from 3D Warehouse, how do you put the building in there? You just drop it in, like just download it and import it?
If you're using SketchUp?
Yeah.
Well, it just goes directly in SketchUp. So where is it now? Here you go. So like let's see here now. Let's use something small, like where's that little town that I saw? Alright, even this one here. Alright, you just choose download. And you what version? So I'm gonna choose 2020. And that's it. And then you choose open. And you got it. Oh, you mean if to get it in your model, what you would do is you would merge it. So in your SketchUp, you'd go to File, and is it Import or Merge? Isn't it Merge? Or you could literally copy and paste it, like Control C and Control V. You could literally do that. I thought there was a merge. Maybe I'm getting my wires crossed with Max. But I thought there was a... SketchUp. I get. Oh yeah, you can. You can. Well, I don't know if it will merge. Yes, see it here. You can import another SketchUp file actually. So I would go to Downloads, go to that SketchUp model, and go to Import, and it should just see. There it is. Just pop right in there.
You can also download it from SketchUp and like put it in the model itself, rather than download it to your laptop.
Exactly. You can just get it directly from within SketchUp, you mean?
Right.
That is also correct. There you go. And you have your little town right there. Guess what? Some of you, guess what you're going? You remember that compositing method that I show you? So some of you might have a SketchUp with just the surroundings, and you carry the surroundings in Enscape or Lumion and you mess with it. And then you have another model with just your building, and you carry the building in, and then you put them together, composite them together. That might be some of your approach as well. Right? Like even this one here that I was just looking at. Oh, I think I closed it. I think I closed it. I think it was this one. Right. Right. So even something like this, I mean, these little round snowball trees. I mean, these, you probably don't have to search for those. You could literally just draw little spheres in SketchUp, literally. And this is a photorealistic render. And look at this building. This building is only an outline. So that would mean that the actual building model, you would probably just use a massing of the building instead of the actual building. Or you could use the actual building, is up to you. But this kind of alludes to a massing model. And then the material now, this is kind of a transparentish material. But then how you going to get these white lines? You know, there are different ways. So we discussed some ways using passes. So maybe you get out one and use the white lines, and then you render, and then you overlay. Or guess what? Some persons would just render the picture and manually just draw the lines over it in Photoshop or Illustrator. I mean, you know, it's up to you. Watch your sun angle.
Sir, would that be the communicative objective that you're showing?
Remember, for this mimic, it doesn't really have the image itself has to have the communicative objective. Because remember, you're highlighting an element. You're highlighting an element, something. You're highlighting something about your image amongst a dense context.
So one submission should encompass both objectives.
Exactly. For this one.
Okay.
This one would have to have one image. So for this is obviously the main highlight, and then this is the surroundings. When I said dense, it doesn't have to be like thick with trees, but it is obviously, you can see this thing popping out of these surroundings. So that is the objective for this mimic. So you have to remember that. All right, guys. So
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that with our image we have to do everything as it is in our image, or can we take some artistic license when mimicking?
You can take artistic license in terms of representation. So for example, what are the major features of this visualization I'm looking at? Everything in the context is white. It has snowball trees. The entourage is like gray. A road is gray. But you're not going to literally, you don't have to draw like 3 big towers in the background. You don't have to like count the amount of buildings that are here. You understand what I mean? So you're taking artistic license because you're just you're using the techniques of what is here. But when you look at your image and your mimic image side by side, it must look like, you know, the same person who did this also did that. So you start to look at shadow angle. You start to look at material, like this is a reflective red material here. You look at the outlines, it's white outlines. You understand? How did they represent the entourage, the base? The base is completely white, the buildings are white. Look at the direction of the camera. That is important in this view. Your view will matter in this mimic. This is kind of an aerial view, and if your view is this way, the sun is coming that way. So everybody should match. If you have soft light or hard light, those things. Did that answer your question, hopefully?
Sir, it's because in the image that I chose, there's like some transparency elements almost to the front, like it was highlighting circulation. And I just didn't feel like it would fit the image, but then I could also bring across like the white lines and the fact that there's a different material on the building and stuff like that. So that's what I was asking.
Right. So all right. So in an image like this is telling me that, you know, the main building. Let me make this a little thicker. This is telling me that perhaps the main building is here, right? Now your building doesn't have these crazy angles, but you can still represent your building like this. What are the features of this? Well, it has a kind of brown outline. The whole thing is like dark brown and tan colored, monochrome between those two colors. It is photoreal. So for example, and then the back, this behind here is semi-transparent. So maybe it is that this element here, maybe you carry your building maybe you could carry a building in Enscape, and well, you can't change the color of your line work in Enscape, but you can render a monochromatic building. Twinmotion that we just explored a while ago, they have a monochromatic thing where you could choose a color that we just looked at. Then now, everything in your background, which is so like this around here and this around here, all of that is like semi-transparent kind of brown colored. So maybe those elements could be rendered afterwards and put behind this layer that you rendered. Remember, you know, you are not modeling those buildings. You're finding buildings that would make it look like this. And then as it relates to your foreground, sky is the limit. If you can do some crazy kind of entrance thing if you want, you know. You know, it could even be a photo for those of you who love Photoshop. Suppose you find a photo that works with your image, meaning suppose you find a photo that line up with your rendered photo, then use it. It doesn't have to be a model. It doesn't have to be. Am I helping or making it worse?
So when I say photo, I mean like photo of like a building in the background, sir?
Yeah, like suppose the background is an image that works with your image, and you're just photoshopping it together. Then yeah, you work with it same way. You don't. Everything doesn't have to be 3D, but it is unlikely that you're going to find a perfect photo for this. You know, it's not like it's a plan where you'll find something in plan and it can't work. You mean you're dealing with perspective and lighting. You're not necessarily going to find the perfect photo that line up perspective-wise and is the same color tone, have the same shadows. It's going to be much harder for you to find something. But if you do find something, use it. Suppose you want to Photoshop in these little people here. Or suppose you want to use the SketchUp 2D objects that's built into the program. But whatever you do, you're not literally building something at the same scale. It is based off the model that you already have. All right. Anybody else feeling worried about their own?
Oh wait, sir, one more question about this. Last time you said if there is text and everything to it had to represent the image, but I don't need to include text for this one.
I mean, in this case, the effects and the objective are in one. The communication objective is that you have to, something must be
sir,
highlighted.
You're not understanding. Last time, like with the floor plan and the sections, you were saying that if there's any text, like any written element in there,
I didn't hear you correctly. Yeah, man. So you would, you need to mimic this as well, but you don't need to just make it up. Is it?
Okay.
It's a great area. You know what? You choose if you think that it is a intricate part of what makes this image.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that area I leave up to you. Anybody else feeling worried about their image?
Yes, sir. Can you I just resubmitted it because I think I mistaked it for something else.
Okay, no problem. Okay, well, okay, what you can use to determine if your image qualifies is, remember, for this objective, I keep getting that I have the outline here. There you go. Let me maximize that. There we go. Right. So you are tasked to select a 3D perspective image to mimic. The 3D perspective must highlight an objective amongst a dense visual context. Right? So
trees.
Well, yeah, but it's not dense. It's not like it's a forest and it's popping out in there. To me, the context in this is white. Literally. The trees don't play like a major part in being that complex context that you are comparing against. For me, the white jumps out, but then the white in this case couldn't be used, so you need to find a better image. Not a better image, because it is a nice image, but an image that more suits the criteria. Think needle in the haystack. So what is the needle? What is the haystack? There can't be more needle than haystack.
I think I found something.
Say again?
Can I share screen? I think that I found something.
Sure. Let's see. No, hold on. How does that work with streaming? No, because I think with streaming, can you send a link?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Because if you share screen, you won't see it in the stream. Alright, I got it. See? Are you getting it?
I don't see that you're seeing. Oh, I'm lagging. I'm behind.
All right, yeah.
So I'm assuming that series of structures would just be swapped in for my one building.
So remember, you have to resize this concept for your building. So your building is just a single structure.
My building several times.
No, I don't. I mean, you could, but that wouldn't be the approach because it's one of your buildings. So, but in this case, the building that is highlighted, it has this red kind of brick material, and then it has a green roof. So that's the feature, and then the surroundings is like a dense surrounding. It has like a little driveway in front of it and so forth. So, you would try to apply this with your model. But you wouldn't need to repeat it 10, 20 times because this is repeated.
Okay.
Right. Watch the camera angle and watch the sun angle. Little things. So these buildings are slightly transparent.
And the blur.
Right. Then you have the blur around it. I remember one year somebody discovered that was it Lumion or Twinmotion that had the tilt shift effect built in? So they didn't have to go in Photoshop and do any fancy blur. They could literally just turn on that effect in depth of field, right? Just turn on your depth of field effect from directly in Lumion or Twinmotion. I don't know about Enscape. But between those three, I'm confident. Between those three and having the ability to do compositing, I'm confident that you can achieve anything. Okay,
so it's not about you being confident, it's about me actually managing to do it.
Well, I have confidence in you as well that you will manage to do it. Remember, the objective here is that you're not trying to create things from scratch, right? Remember to utilize models that you have. So the time you spent is not in building custom stuff, but rather experimenting with different techniques. Somebody was saying something?
Do I just resubmit this image and say final image submission in the comments?
Yeah, well, by default I use the last submission that everybody sent. So
okay, great.
Right. So it will in terms of the timestamp, I go from latest and upward. Alright, so anybody else doubting their images?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
I just read some.
you forgot me.
Okay. Alright, before you, Nelson, Rhea, I remember Rhea had said
Thank
that.
you. Yes, sir. I re-uploaded a second image.
Oh, you re-uploaded. Alright. Hold on. Just now?
Sir, should
No, sir.
objective.
In the objective part.
Oh, I guess I shouldn't have an objective part because in this case the objective is the thing.
The objective is the entire thing.
Yeah. Unlike the others. No, that's not. Where did it go?
That's illegal. The image is illegal, sir.
What image? Oh, this is nice.
Sir, the one I just uploaded.
That's this one?
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Alright, this is nice. So when you're doing this, look at this. Look at all these little outlines. So it's photorealistic plus is outlined. I think Enscape would do a great job of this. I mean, you could probably just achieve most of this within one application, I think. Yeah. But what you need to
So
watch.
this is why I needed time to make up my mind because I'm not sure if I can do this. I just really like it.
All right. Well, so what you would do now is look at the materials that's used on this model and then try and match that material with your model. The roof is this kind of rustic thing. It have, these wooden vertical slats and it have looking like brick. And then the context is this outline. Like it's gonna be interesting how you get it outlined, because if you're using like Lumia, like Twinmotion, when you turn on outline, not Twinmotion, what is it? Enscape, right? When you turn on outline, it's going to outline everything. But this model here is not outlined. You notice?
Yeah.
Everything else has these outlines.
Yes,
so you're probably going to have to render one that is outlined and render one that is not outlined, and make sure you hold the same camera view and then you composite them together, just like what you saw we did with Illustrator and all these other things.
Yes, sir. Sir, it sounds hard, but I'll try something.
No, man, it's not hard, man. Use one of those applications. Right off the bat, Enscape comes to mind, just because of how easy you can turn on outlines in Enscape. But I'm sure that Lumion has some outlining thing as well. I'm not a Lumion expert, but Enscape comes to mind first here.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Lumion. I use Twinmotion, but I'll try to get it.
Right, try Enscape as well.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm. Remember, I said most of those applications, because they're simple, one application not going to do everything. All right. I'm going to have to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. I'll do that.
Sir, remember that we have to talk after class.
Okay, no problem.
Yes,
let's do that on a phone call. All right, you have my WhatsApp,
okay,
right?
Sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. So what we're going to do is next week Monday is when we're going to do the same process, right? You're going to have that workflow, right? And you're going to follow the same process of identifying the features that you used. Let me open it here. Here we go. No thanks. Right, so you're going to determine the functions that you need for this one. It's going to be primarily 3D modeling. Some of you are going to need to do, most people are going to do maybe 3D modeling and raster editing. Some persons going to need to do vector editing, like what we showed a while ago. Then you need to find the features, the features. So remember, we pointed out some people have direct hard light, soft sunset light. Some persons have no light at all. Try and identify the primary visual features you see so that you can target it. And then now determine what software, when you determine the features, then you try and estimate the kind of workflow that you need. So for a lot of us, it's probably going to be, SketchUp, and maybe some persons would use the style features in SketchUp. Some persons would go SketchUp to Twinmotion, to get a particular feel, and then they go Photoshop and so forth. So you're going to design that step. Remember to do your research. So you're going to Google these tutorials. Some persons have light shining through glass. So maybe you want to find a tutorial about that so you can feel comfortable about doing that. Some people might have an effect like how do you outline the context, turn on outlines in Lumion. Let's say you don't know how to do that. Find a tutorial that does that and follow that tutorial. Right? And then you complete your image. Alright, so you're going to use the same steps and you can build on top of this like how some of you built on top of the last one. You're going to use the same steps to do this. Okay guys, that was a full class. So I hope some of us learned stuff new. I will save the stream and I will post it. Remember, it will be where all the other tutorials are, which is on the website. Remember, when you go to the CSA website and you go over to class recordings and you go over to Advanced Computing 1 and then you log in, of course, you will see the tutorials there. Okay guys, so if there is any critical thing, you can reach out again from your Wednesday class with Mr. Ramarak. You can reach out to me then. That is, emergency situation. If something is not working or some program not working. And then I'll see you again on Monday. On Monday we use half the class to go through the presentation and we use the other half to prepare for the final mimic. And then we're all done. Alright? You might notice, by the way, if you go to the site, where is it? I closed it already, my bad. If you go to the site, you will notice that, there we go. There, some of the work has been already marked. Remember how this works? Let me zoom in. Control Alt Shift plus minus. Alright, let's zoom in here. Right, so far we did the plan mimic and we did the section mimic. So for everybody, the grades is going to be these four categories along with the submission. 4 categories along with the submission. So next we're going to do the perspective mimic submission and X-ray mimic submission. Alright? So if you guys have made your submissions, then I will mark them. If you're not seeing like your mark here, you need to tell me. I think there's a reason why some of these are not marked. Either something is correct.
I'm not seeing my mark.
Right.
Yes, sir, but
Or it might be that I don't have your ID number, maybe.
I think so, sir. 'Cause I wasn't really at the first couple of classes.
All right. So, but it's not. I don't think it's finished.
Nothing, man.
No. Say again.
Not seeing mine, but I submitted my ID number with my sheet on Mirrorboard.
Yes.
Remember,
So
this
did
is for
I,
the
sir.
presentation. So if you're not.
Oh wait, sir. Sir, because of my issue, sir, I wouldn't have been able to get a grade.
All right.
Yes,
so
sir.
so
Me
this is
too.
what you're
I
going to
was
do.
Oh yeah.
able to present.
Sir,
So-
but I presented and I still don't see my
So this is what you're going to do, guys. For those of you who did not get to submit, right? What I need you guys to do is you can remember there are 2 parts of the grade. There's the presentation grade and then there's the submitting grade. So When you submit, you'll get the submitting grade. The submitting grade is 10%, and the presentation grade is 20%. Right? That is stretched across all 4 mimics. Now, if you never got a chance to present last week, then all you need to do, you need to just send me an email. Well, I think, Rhea, you sent me an email already. But you just have to send me an email for the record, and then you would present next class.
Okay, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir. Cool.
All right, good. Remember, guys, that you need to submit as well. So for some of you that got feedback and you need to edit it, go back and edit it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you said I was supposed to talk to you after class. Should I?
All right.
call you as
So,
well?
actually, here's what we'll do. I will just create a breakout room for you and then Rhea. So anybody that want to talk to me, let's just do it on Zoom in a breakout room, in a single breakout room.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
question. For those of us who presented on the day, but we still not seen our grade.
I'm wondering
Is
if
it
I
that
had
we submit?
marked it. If you're not seeing it, then let me see. Let me check. I have another list that I can check. Let me check that list to make sure that you are on that list.
Sir, would the submission be the mirror link, sir?
No, the submission is not the mirror link. The mirror link is just for the presentation.
Oh, but then if those of us who have corrections and not yet finished wouldn't have submitted, then
That is right, but you would have had the presentation grade if you did present on the
Yeah.
day. So that's why I'm checking. Hold on, but Bonita, I'm not seeing your mirror link.
What?
You did send me a mirror link?
But I posted it in the chat. Yeah, I
All right. No, you need to send
did.
it.
Hold on, let me open your
Anika, you have to send it to the site too.
Right, you have to send it to the site. That is important. So when you send it,
How do I do that?
Remember, it's on the handout. When you go to the site, you go on the handout. Submit your mirror link for your presentation. So I think that's
That
probably
little red button?
right. That's red button right here. So when you submit it, please just put in the comment that you had presented and you just submitting the link here.
Oh, okay.
So that I'll
Oh
know.
my god.
No, man, it's fine, man. You weren't. I know that you presented to me. I mean, I'm right. I know. But I think I couldn't find your link to review it. That's why probably not Mark. Is there
Yeah.
anybody else who presented on the day and not seen a grade? Anybody else? Okay. All
Sir,
right.
you were saying something before you got cut off. You said that those of us who presented on the day that received feedback to
Right. So the feedback that you receive, you would make it for the submission now. Right? Remember, presentation and submission. So you need to submit the actual work. And you would do that via these.
Sir, when?
For right now, I'm hoping that the submission is made during the time, but I will give you up until the last a week after the last presentation. I think that's fair enough. But I mean,
submit all.
Yes, sir.
right, but I
Okay.
mean, don't wait to submit all. Please don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, remember, when you present, you are like 70, if not 90% done. Maybe there's just a little line that wasn't glowing correctly or something like that. You just edit that, send me the file. All right. The submission is 10% out of the 30, guys. Remember, so don't forget to submit. All right, and the submission button is right on the last page. I click here to submit to class site. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the submission. Okay, guys. So 2 more weeks and then we're done with this assignment, and we're on to other great stuff. How is your class? How is the lectures with Miss Ramrak? You're going through the team handouts?
Yes, sir. And she said she wanted to have a conversation with you regarding the BIM collaboration to maybe push up the date.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, man. So we usually talk. So, by time you finish the assignment one, then you would pretty much get started on your final project. No, you would have
Okay,
submitted your milestones already, right?
Yes, sir. So she was saying that to keep in line a parallel line between our milestone and when you're teaching the BIM.
Right.
Again.
Right. Because if you remember, last year when you did the collaboration in Revit, so our hope
Yes,
is
sir.
that we will now do collaboration as a team when you're doing the model for your measured survey. So I'm going to
Yes, sir.
run back through that collaboration method, and I'm also supposed to do some lectures on BIM collaboration as well. So when we get to that bridge.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I'm free now to go have my dinner, right, guys?
No, sir, I just submitted. As long as you know that while you're eating, you can think about that.
Alright. So you have any more?
Sir, you're supposed to talk to the children.
I'm supposed to talk to the?
Yes, you have Kiana and Rhea waiting on you.
Yes, I know that. I know.
She just said children. I'm sorry.
Just remote.
She said children. I meant to say people pick me. My bad.
All right, so
Cassandra here, just trying to fully understand in terms of the presentation.
Okay. You mean in terms of what to present, how to present?
Okay, in terms of the presentation, no. Last week, where I didn't get to present, the electricity just went, so that took the internet and everything. So I sent an email to you after it came back, with the submission, and I submitted it on the site. So I believe the safest route for me to take would be to do a recording, and then I'm not sure if we'll play it during the class next week for the final presentation, or however that works.
Actually, no, we would do it during the presentation next week. Because what happens is that it's more of a discussion. So while you're talking, I would maybe ask you, like, how did you do that and this and that and so forth. So you just do it in next week's class.
Okay. In terms of the submissions, though, I was expecting some feedback, but didn't receive any. So I was wondering if I could get some, so I'd know what to add or minus for the last presentation.
Oh no, well you get the feedback when you present. I mean,
okay,
right? Because sometimes the feedback is based on how you achieved what you did. You know?
Okay.
Right. I mean, I think I rather do it that way. Because while you're explaining that, you know, I use Photoshop to the this, Illustrator to the that, I might ask, so why you never do it this way and that way, and that forms your feedback. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I must say from now, I'll have some connectivity issues, but I'll do my best to bring it across as clear as I can.
Yeah, man, no problem. We know how the connectivity thing goes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna jump in a room with the persons that want to speak to me, which is Rhea and who else?
Me, sir. Nelson. Oh, yeah.
And Nelson. All right, cool. So just hang around,
Mary.
Nelson. Let me talk to Rhea.
Merrick.
Oh, Merrick, you're here. I
Yeah.
wanted to speak to you as well, so hang around. Okay. Alright, let me do this now. Okay, I'm gonna stop the stream now.